Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kiks, Canadian Diamond Boyz. We're on the Spend the Re-Up podcast with my boy Dow Jones and with my boy Khalil. We're going to talk about it.
All right, man.
Do it, man. How's everybody doing?
I'm great, man.
Yeah, it's a good day, man.
We're good. All right. We just had a little birthday.
Yep.
Yeah, happy
Good,
birthday,
man.
Big Dog, Dow Jones.
39.
Tonight at church.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
tonight
sir.
at church.
Yeah, it's about to go
let's go.
down.
gonna
Yeah,
get
Slam
lit.
and Salmon's about to
Shout out
turn
to
the place
Slam and
up.
Salmon. Let's
Come
go.
on.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one.
Are you pulling up smoke or what?
Yeah, I'll come pull up.
It's going to be lit. I'm going straight to bed.
Yeah,
I might be there, but
I've been on my old man stuff lately. We got a vacation
I'm gonna get to
tomorrow.
bed at like 4 a.m. and then have 2 hours of sleep and then get on the plane.
yeah, I think
When
the
do we gotta
flight
be
is
at the-
early.
Airport. I think the flight takes off at noon, so that means we got to be there by like, what, 9:30, 10?
Yeah, probably like claim it a little earlier just because it's going to take a while, but
Uh,
we'll figure it out.
I never,
She said 9:30.
I've only been on domestic flights. I've never gone
It's
on
a domestic
international.
flight.
Is it?
Yeah, it flies out of domestic anyways.
Oh.
There's only, if you're going to USA, is the only international.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Some regulated person said 3 hours ahead of time, but you just sit around there and wait. They just want you to spend money in the airport. It don't take
Yeah.
that long to get through.
Right.
And
So for people that don't know what we're talking about, we're shutting down the shop for a week, and we're taking our Christmas vacation 3
Yeah.
months later.
We started it now.
Yeah, starting it now. We're going to
The
PV.
website's wide open. The phone lines are on, but the showroom's closed for
yeah.
vacation.
for 1 week. Let's
Yeah,
go.
3rd to the 10th.
Smoke's first time outside the country.
First time out of the country. How do you feel about that?
Man, I mean,
I seen you pretty excited.
yeah, I'm pretty turned up. I've been counting the days down. You know, everybody comes back every year from their vacations talking about like Mexico or talking about Bali or the UK or whatever, and I just never been nowhere. So it's like, I'm pretty hyped, but I feel like we picked a pretty crazy time to go do this.
Yes, American Spring Break. I
It
used
is
to
American
DJ that.
Spring Break.
It's-
Well,
Yeah,
American-
Dow, tell us about that. There's been, you used to do that all the time, kind of before I met you.
Yeah, for like almost 7 years, I started DJing off in Mazatlan, Mexico, for spring break, and then I bullied my way into Cancun.
Let's go. I'm so glad we're not going to Cancun.
Yeah, Cancun's crazy though. I did the city 1 year. That's the name of the club. It's one of the biggest clubs in all of Latin. I think it's all of North America and Latin America. I think it's the biggest club. Holds like 7,500 people.
Okay.
And I played it sold out one night. And I wasn't even on the bill. I just like literally bullied my way in there. I'm like, yo, I'm doing it. And then they gave me a slot right after LMFAO.
Oh,
So I had to go on
they
right
were hot
after
back
them.
then too.
Yeah. And they didn't even go on till like probably like 12:30, like almost 1 a.m.
Oh,
So
no.
and they played for about an hour and a bit. So I didn't start till 2:30 in the morning. I was like, oh man, the club's gonna be shut down. No one's gonna be in
It
there.
was just starting.
I played till 5 in the morning and it was still rammed.
Yeah.
Energy
And there was
on
another
max.
DJ that went on after me.
The rage is real when you're in that hot sun and everything during the day. You can
Yeah.
just do anything and you don't feel the burn from it. Like when you're in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could wake up, roll out of bed, and start a Corona right away, and it doesn't feel weird.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's just you're energized. The sun actually changes your life. We don't realize that up here.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I think like that's like, especially with the weather we got here right now, it's like you wake up, go to get out of bed, look out the window, you're like, man, I could have used another hour of sleep. Like, but even in the summer here, we're just like, I'm up at 6:30. I'm in the gym and I'm
Yeah.
calling everybody. I'm like, yo, and as soon as it hits winter, it's like the clouds come, there's no sun, there's no nice weather. You almost like hibernate.
We do get a lot of sunny days. We're not in Vancouver. No one's like depressed over it. But when you in Alberta, you do get that. That summertime is the best. My ideal dream life would be live the hell out of here in the winter. Come visit when you want to ride snowmobiles and
Yeah.
snowboards, and then or shovel the snow just for fun, and then go and come back in the summer for the whole summer, because no one gets to go to bed at 11. Sun goes down at 11, then comes back up at 4. You're already fishing at like 4:30 a.m.
Yeah.
and things are great.
Yeah.
I love that. That's it. Anyways, I could just imagine living out like that.
Man, when I was in Yellowknife, that was crazy.
Yeah, the sun is
It was
up
like
there.
3 hours of night, or not even like 2.5 at their longest day of the year. The sun goes down at like 1:30 in the morning and it's back up by 3.
Canadian things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
And then
it's-
does it do the opposite?
Yeah, and then it does the opposite. So in the
Yeah.
winter, it's like down by like 4 p.m. and it doesn't come up until like 11 a.m.
Yeah, we do have quite a bit of dark. It's kind of if you really you know, a lot of people
Edmonton's,
just leave
I feel
their
like Edmonton's
condo
like that.
in a parkade, go into the shop, and then come back in the condo.
it's
You don't
dark,
see
yeah.
the sun.
Yeah.
You got to remember that. That's why it's important to take a little supplement, maybe even jump in the tanning studio, get some red light.
Yeah, take the vacations when you can, especially go get
That's the Canadian thing, is just hit Mexico. So I'm glad we're doing it.
Yeah.
And then you're being your first time. I'm so pumped on that.
Yeah,
It's gonna
me
be
too.
crazy.
I'm more excited for Smoke to be there than
I
for me to be
I
there.
just recognize him sometimes when I come in the shop. I could just see he's been thinking about it, and he's just so excited. He's like, man,
Just
I didn't
vibrating.
even think I was trying to get out of this one, but we got to go.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be lit.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think 7 days is way too long for myself, but we're gonna be all right. You're gonna be burnt at the end of it. We're
Yeah,
gonna come
Mexico,
back.
I'm usually burnt after 4 days. Like,
Yeah.
not I'm physically burnt, but I'm like mentally burnt too.
Physically,
Like, I'm ready to
physically
get
and
back to
mentally
work after
burnt.
4 days. I think 4 days is like, it's kind of the same as Vegas. Like, when you go to Vegas,
Yeah.
go anything longer than 4 days, you're just
Yeah,
like,
Vegas is. I was
I need
weak
outta
there
here.
last year. They somehow they keep putting the JIS show, or sorry, that IWJG and the JCK show. They don't talk to each other in that. If we want to transfer into some like jewelry conversation, when we go to Miami coming up at the end of March, it's the same thing. They put the IWJG show for the first one in Atlanta. It's on the same weekend as the other international, like JIS, the Miami show.
So you got to choose between them rather than be able to go to both of them at different parts of
they
the
probably
year.
do that on purpose, though. I feel like
They just don't. They're so old school mentality on IWJG that they don't like. They don't understand
They
that
don't
people can communicate. We can all go, but I can't be in two places at the same time. Sure, it's an hour flight or whatever it is, but you get there, get set up. You're on the beach too, and then you try to go back. It's just too much. Trying to up and down, left and right.
And it's just like owning two gas stations right beside each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're just splitting up your profit. Like just
They're not.
one and go.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't really consider that watch dealers or anything to do with jewelry. But we got antique and watches. They all kind of go. We're all jewelers. Some of us like Sam, my good friend Sam. He's got an antique. You know, he has two different locations. One's like actual traditional jewelry store, and then the other is more antique and stuff like this. So
is Danny gonna be down in Miami?
I asked him to, but he can't come to Vegas this year, which is like the hoorah. But I'll see if he's gonna come. That'd be lit.
Yeah,
Get him out there.
so for people that
I don't think his wife wants him to go to Miami.
Nobody's wife wants you to go to Miami.
So for people that don't know what we're talking about, though, we're talking about a jewelry trade show that we go to pretty much every year, at least once or twice a year. Sometimes we go, like sometimes they're in Vegas, sometimes they're in Miami,
New York. Those
New
are kind of our
York.
bigger ones.
Those are the main hubs. Even like Houston, like no, Houston doesn't really have them, but we go to Houston.
We
all
still
the
do
time.
the show, not the show. We just do the tour there and
Yeah.
visit like vendors and other network.
So it's where we get it's where we see what's happening new in the jewelry industry. So like new technology, new design ways, new ways.
Houston really
machinery.
is like a
Yeah.
big hub as far as
New
that goes.
machinery.
Like they might not have the shows there, but like when you're talking about like the culture of jewelry, that's
For the hip hop culture, for sure.
yeah.
Their standard, I feel, in Houston is so much lower. I don't know if it's from being less fortunate and not seeing the rest of it, but their standard, you can get away with a lot there that you would never get away with up here with quality
100%.
wise.
Yeah,
The
100%.
clientele, especially on our industry, they're just like, yeah, that's sick. It's sparking. They're done. Like now when you have like these European styles and ideas that we have now where it's very high quality, like traditional stuff, you can't.
The thing is I kind of blame us for that in a good way though, because
we're showing it.
when you're talking about like you can't get away with that with people up here, is because we have
educated
gone on a 10-year streak of where education is the most important thing to us, right? So it's like if you keep people ignorant, you can treat them how you want to treat them.
Right.
But once you've educated them, no jeweler can treat them like that again because now they have the knowledge.
That's kind of the goal for our brand, is to try to establish a little bit more of a regulation in it instead of just deceiving someone out of a sale.
The slimy jeweler stereotype.
I hate that stuff. It's just like used dirty car salesmen where
the
they're
car
selling
salesman,
where they're selling a lady, for instance, a car. She wants to go in there. She's like, I need an SUV, and they're like, yeah, it's all wheel drive, but she doesn't know what the difference is. But they sell her a front wheel drive, and they get her to sign that full.
You drive off the lot at 29% interest, and the 30 seconds later, the check engine light comes on, the brake comes on, everything comes on.
Being financially illiterate is pretty common nowadays, but
that's another thing too that I think we do really well as compared to a lot of jewelers. Like, I know myself personally, I've talked people out of pieces they couldn't afford, or talked them maybe and just like giving them enough information they could make a smart decision, right? Like, you have the guy that comes in and he might have $9,000 to his name and that's all he has. And he's trying to spend the entire $9,000 on something where like you can give him an option to maybe put a little bit down, put some down every month, come back, get what he really wants instead of just like blowing his bag, or like show him like my buddy that did the very expensive chain, the $90,000 custom Cuban that we just did for him, right?
Yeah.
Highest quality. He came to me 2 years ago and he said, yo, I want to build this chain. We gave him a quote, but it was a little bit lower at the time because the gold and the diamonds were a bit lower, right?
Right.
But he basically, that was all the money he had. It was going to be like 65 grand or 70 grand, and it was all the money he had at the time. And I told him, I was like, yo, and he's like, I don't want to spend everything, but I don't want to sacrifice the quality.
Right.
So I told him, okay, bro, well, then right now isn't the time. Go take this money, use it to make money, and then come back to me when the time is right.
Re-up.
Yeah,
exactly. And spend the re-up, but spend your re-up right now in the right way so you can come back and spend it with me proper. And
I'd rather build that with the client. I'd rather build a client up so they're a little bit more successful, because then it's going to be a longer lasting client. But I mean, we still have the kids that come in without a driver's license and just got their credit card to go to university, and they want to spend the whole entire budget.
Yeah, we call those the COVID cash outs.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can really train somebody. They're going to just walk out the store and go down to your boy's store up the road and buy something.
But that's the point of the education too, is like, you heard the saying, you can lead them to the lake, but you can't make them drink. Yeah. You can give them the education all you want, but like at some point they're going to do what they're going to do. Yeah. Right.
Make sure you understand what the meaning of spend the re-up is.
Actually, this is a perfect time. I think you should tell them, because like we always
say spend the re-up.
Yeah, we say spend the re-up all the time, and we get
then the plugs mad at us. Yeah. They're like, yo, you told my kid to blow the bag. You're like, no, I didn't mean that.
Yeah, that's not how we mean it.
I said reinvest. Spending the re-up means to reinvest. So you take that money, you reinvest, and you make more money. What you want to do with the profits is your business. You can spend it again on the re-up and then make more money, but
just keep
spending the re-up. The definition isn't what it sounds like. It sounds exactly what it sounds like. It's not what people think it is, where they're saying, hey, he told me spend the re-up, so I have no money to re-up. That's not what I mean. Spend the damn re-up so you get more product, or reinvest in yourself, gain the profits, and then spend the profits.
Yeah, on us.
Yeah. But no, it's like a nod to like everything that we do though at the same time, right? Like, someone will come in and say like, I want to buy this diamond Cuban as an investment. I'm not going to sit there and look at the guy and be like, yeah, this is an investment. It's not an investment piece. There's many reasons why it's not an investment. But I mean, like, where you take value from is different, right? If you're a rapper and you think that having that diamond Cuban is going to put more attention on you, that's your investment. But your investment is not like, I'm going to buy it now and sell it for higher later. That's not how this goes. So it's like just determining where the person takes their value from and what they consider an investment, like having to get to the root of that issue, that allows me to solve the problem. But
educating people on there's different forms of value.
Yeah.
It's not always
they're always just thinking money, but that's why
a money transaction.
That's not if you really got it, you're not going to buy a bust down watch necessarily.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you really got it, if you really got it, you're going to buy a bust down watch because it's way sicker than a regular one.
Yeah. Drake, come on, man. You put one line in a song. Now nobody wants a bust down watch. I know, and that's the crazy thing. Drake will wear a bust down watch, but like, watch his factory so it appreciates. You put one line in a song.
On some of them.
And it is true.
But then again.
But now it's the same thing as Lil Baby or the Migos. VVs. It's like everybody just want the VVs. Nobody understands the colors. So it's like when Drake says that, And I'm not really faulting him for saying it because he's being genuine, and there's only so much you can fit into a 2-bar rap song, right?
Yeah.
But like now you have a generation of people that are like, nah, you put the diamonds in it, makes it worthless. Well, where's the math? How do you put $30,000 worth of diamonds into a $40,000 watch and now the watch is worth $0? That literally doesn't make sense.
That's a decade-old debate. Everyone battles over that on the internet and stuff, but I don't really care. My marketing and my entire development of this whole entire idea I've ever had has always been I want to customize my stuff, and that's what I do. And I don't care. We have the clients for that. I don't care about everyone's opinions. I've also bought factory pieces myself, and my boy, we had a Patek 5980, for instance. It was booming for over 400K literally in 2021, 2022. We sold it less than a year ago for 200,000 at market price. You lose 250K. That's a big loss. It's on a plain Jane watch.
It's just
it finally just got discontinued, and I still look at the market. It's the same thing. So yes, watches appreciate. At one time in COVID, during these last couple of years, there's definitely been a whole luxury market of increase that, I don't know, it makes no mathematical sense. No one's seen it before. It's like
I remember seeing it was like almost we're looking at the market every day and being like, how is it worth 500 more today than it was yesterday, and then the next day and the next day.
We're going to dealers now for like authorized dealers with the watches. When you buy it, a lot of them, we can buy it less on the market. Again, we're buying it below market price.
Right.
And for instance, like a brand like Rolex, who sells the most watches, I think collectively they sell the most watches of the Swiss watch companies per year. And that whole entire program is they've increased the price 4 times since 2021.
Yeah, almost every year, like right around Christmas.
They do. It was normal for them to do that, but I mean, like this year's another like average of like 5 to 8%.
Right.
You start getting up there, and it's been back to back to back. So you really add the percents up. It's getting up there.
I think like when it comes to that though, like it's like the debate about like factory or diamond set or like watches holding value or losing value and stuff like that. It's like when you're selling a watch, like the number one important thing is understanding your customer base, right? Like if you don't have the customer base that would ever want to buy a diamond watch, then it doesn't make sense for you to diamond set a watch because your customer base are collectors and they're
it's not who you're
businessmen.
working for.
Exactly.
With,
And that's why like when someone will say, no, it's worthless. It's not worthless. It's worthless to you because you don't have the customer base to sell it. It's not worthless to
value
us.
for it.
Yeah, like my customers don't want anything but diamond watches. So it's
I think that's why we got a great niche in the market.
So we have endless amount of free advertisement with every video that comes out. You know what I mean? So that's what I kind of try to explain to my clients too. If they come at me with that, I'm just like, yeah, if you're hanging around a bunch of collectors and that's where you are, and you're in Europe and that's the people you're around, then of course, like,
people collect stamps too.
But like,
and coins.
But when you come in here, like, if you bought a watch from me, if you bought a watch from me and it's a bust down watch, and now you wanted me to resell it, I'm like, yeah, I could resell it, no problem. Just because that's what my clients want.
Yeah, for our clientele.
Like, that's it. So it's not worthless. It's
exactly. It's not to the general. You're just reducing that funnel that you don't get.
In
all
fact,
the extra
half the time I get a plain Jane watch, I just put diamonds on it anyway.
Put the bezel on. That's how you sell it.
That's how I sell it.
What you're reducing is the millions of dollars spent on their marketing ads from the Swiss watch company, for instance, of Rolex, Audemars, or Patek. They're advertising their personal specific situation, and that clientele is learning from them. That's what their market is. So
Correct.
You're reducing complete advertisement that they've done. You're just eliminating it. Well, we have our own advertisement of showing it off. It's a lifestyle that we're living. We wear it.
Yeah.
We enjoy it. It's
we pour champagne on them.
Yeah, it's the same thing as what we do with our cars. No one's just gonna get in a car and drive off the dealership. I mean, I've done that one time.
Yeah.
And I still customize that thing from 0 to 100. I crossed it over with platinum. I've crossed over with sport. By the time you leave it, it's completely different. Anyways, no one's driving around with the same vehicle. There's different. I waited like 4 months for rims that were just stock factory rims, but they're different than the other ones. So it's the same thing. I could have just, I want to customize it. It just, that's how I've been our whole lives. I feel like that car culture and customizing your house, I don't care what it is. Why would I want the same thing? I don't even want nothing to do with that.
Right.
So that's why we do custom jewelry.
What? Those
Yeah,
are,
leading like, I mean, they're out of Lafayette, Louisiana. They employ pretty much the whole entire town, I think, at their thing. But
right.
that's the traditional. You can pretty much get anything from the machinery to like everything, all the way up to the jewelry made. They have full fabrication in there as well. But it's cool. That's a great clip, actually.
Yeah, we should pop that clip right in there.
Pop in. Hey, Billy, can you add this in?
Right there.
So pull it up.
But yeah, Grillz, that's another thing that sets the brand apart, like in my opinion, I feel like. And the cool thing is you're starting to see like jewelers in the city even that are like, they feel they need to catch up, so they got to start making grills. They got to find a way to like.
We were dominating for a while.
I feel like we're still dominating personally, me, but that's just my.
I don't really look at the other jewelers.
That's my competitive spirit, though. You know what I mean? Like it's not in a negative way. I just feel like.
We just been doing it so much longer. We understand it and we wear them. So
when you're living a lifestyle, it's way easier to pull it off.
It's a love of the grills, though. It's not like
it's your
I
smile.
don't make grills because it makes money. I make grills because I love wearing them. I love seeing other people wearing them. I like to do the molds. Exactly, that shit's important.
Important.
That's our straight
slogan. Yeah, it's your smile. Shit's
actually
important.
we have it right on. We have it on our mold kits. It's your smile. That shit's important.
Yeah,
every mold kit that goes out has that shit on it.
But the thing about making grills is like people get very self-conscious about their teeth too, right? Like, and it's like, or their smile or whatever. You have a missing tooth. Your teeth are yellow. They're chipped. Maybe you grew up in lower income and you didn't take care of them, or maybe you had a hard life growing up, or whatever the reason is for not having the greatest smile, right? Myself included. For all the viewers that are gonna talk shit about this on this clip, myself included. Like there are self-esteem issues that come along with it. So like I've seen people come into the shop and say, hey, I'm missing like these 2 teeth and I can't afford to get the implants. I can't do this. Like it's cheaper for me to get the grill.
We put the bridge over it. Yeah.
And when they come in and we build the bridge and they come in and they put it on, I've had a client cry putting it on and looking in the mirror, like not like break down all like crazy, but like put it in and have tears in her eyes because she felt so self-conscious before she got that grill. And that's why I love
it gets your head up for sure.
That's why
that same similar story. So we had a little booth at the swap meet that would do wholesale for our grills. And I just remember seeing homie come in and he was he never had his mouth up or anything. And he was just kind of self-conscious. And then he got the molding. Then a couple of weeks later, he had the grill in and he came in. No doubt. He had 2 girls on his arms. He was chilling so good.
He got
confident. It went up because he probably had that confidence before. Yeah. And then it just slowly went away when his teeth were falling out. And then he just had his head down and his lips closed. Like you can't look at someone in the face and show it off, right?
Yeah, it's hard, man.
Yeah.
When I got my first grill, I was cheesing.
Yeah, you can't stop. Dude, you showed me the video. Yeah. That other video of you coming in where you're like, yo, you got these grills, you little bitch.
Yeah.
That shit is funny. You got to put that, hey, Billy, put that in.
Yeah.
Man, like when I got mine too, it was the same thing. And the cool thing about it is like, you know how many times I've seen somebody come in the shop and they come in with like 3 of their homies. And one guy's like, yo, I want to get a grill. And all 3 of their homies, yo, that's cheesy, yo. Or what I hear the most, this is so annoying too, is like the guy will come in and he'll do it and his boy will be like, you're white, bro. You can't put a grill in. Like, bro, shit, like, bro. Like, yo,
I got my first grill when I was 15 and that stuff changed my life. Not only because I started middleman and wholesaling them, but I mean, it helped me in everything. It was completely different.
Yeah.
No one else had that grill. And
it's
I was
individuality.
Walking around.
It's custom, just like
different.
everything we do.
My teachers were bugging out. They're like, you have this, what? You have gold teeth?
You should give people the history because a lot of people don't understand your history and like how you even started with grills and like that you went to New York when you were like 16.
Right. That's a whole big full circle, even with Danny too right now. I don't even know if you know that, Smoke, but
no, I don't know Danny's involvement in like the beginning of it.
He had zero involvement, but his father.
His father, right?
I'll bring it back. So when I first got the grill, I was 15 years old, and it took me a hell of a long time to get it because I had to drive to Calgary where my friend lived that actually introduced me to actual pull-out grills. I thought you had to only get it cemented in or filed in.
Right.
And then he showed me, no, you pull them out, but they're coming from the south. And I got that grill after a few months and I started going out. People are like, yo, where did you get that? And that was where I kind of made that bridge of going on there. then I kept kind of middleman and wholesaling them, and I'd send out my molds, and I wanted to learn more, and I was intrigued by it. I was working with Jimbo on other jewelry specifically and doing small adjustments. Let's say if a grill came back from my wholesale and I needed to add fangs on it for some reason or make adjustments, he'd be able to assist me on that, sitting on the bench as a goldsmith. And
so just so people know, Jimbo still works for us.
yeah, Jimbo's my street partner. That guy helps us all.
When Kiks tells stories, he always pretends like everyone knows exactly who he's talking about. So he just is
Jimbo, you know what Jimbo reminds me of is like the guy behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. Like he's the one really doing the shit.
He's the artist.
He's the artist.
Yeah.
He's the one pulling the strings, but it's like you don't ever see him. But that's the way he likes it. He wants to.
I actually had him on. I had him on our last doc, the mini doc that came with Navoda.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that after.
Yeah.
But I'll
Keep
bring
going,
in this like the story. Once I had the grills and being intrigued, I already was fabricating different stuff with metal, building go-karts, things.
Right.
So it's very similar. I wanted to learn how to build this stuff. So
Go-kart grills, same.
yeah,
same
this
thing.
was back. I had the internet.
Different.
I had the internet because I had just come out of cyber school, or I was in cyber school. And I went on and I was like, hey, who's making grills, and trying to find it online. And I found this make grills advertisement somehow. I don't even know where it was. And I called the guy. They were in Savannah, Georgia. This dude by the name of Dave Baldwin. And he's like, you can come out here. You do it. It was like $5K US or something. I was pretty young. I had the bread. I was 17. I booked it and I went, and then right at the last minute, he switched it. He's like, yo, it's in New York. So I was like, shit. So I traded my flights out. I end up going out to New York. I don't even think you needed a passport at the time. I didn't. No, you just
need your ID.
You needed an ID, which I had because I had got my license finally. And then I went over to New York and we learned in this studio. We're in the Bronx. It was sick. And we did the whole process and practicing and training and everything, learning about the city as well. The jewelry district, crazy. I went down to Jacob Jewelers. Back then, it was crazy.
Wow.
He was just about to go away for whatever that happened with the BMF stuff.
Oh,
but
wow.
there was buzz going on there because 50 Cent was coming up. It was hype.
That was a big time for New York at that time.
Yeah, and jewelry. I mean, New York's always got something popping, but it was sick. It was right after World Trade Centers came down.
Yeah.
That's when I was DJing in Mexico for spring break. Right
Okay,
at that
lit.
time.
Damn, dude, I was just getting out of diapers. But learning all that, crazy part is come back to this now, 20 years later. One of my best friends in the jewelry game that doesn't live here, we talk to him every single day, is in New York. His father owns Gold Teeth USA. And when I was a kid, I had all the flyers and I would sell out of that and middleman and wholesale to. I probably sent this stuff at one point to a wholesaler, then they sent it to them. So there was another 2 or 3 people in the middle of me. And that's how I was reselling grills. And then when I finally got introduced personally to Johnny and everybody, then it kind of shifted my business a little bit more. I was able to travel, but I started.
So when he says Johnny, he means Johnny Dang. Just
Johnny,
so people know.
Yeah. Johnny Dang.
Just to give y'all a little bit of information.
But from that point, even for instance, Paul, he would come. He was on tour. Like they had the song Grillz. That shit blew my business up as well at the time.
When he says Paul, he means Paul Wall.
Yeah, Paul Wall. And you were rapping at the time, but you had a show with Paul Wall and Thug, right?
Yeah, Slim Thug. You know what was crazy? I had no idea, but I had no idea Slim Thug was like 6'9".
Yeah,
and I remember him like walking in the room and being like, bro, like, you don't look this tall in the music video.
I see him getting into lifted trucks like it's a normal truck.
Yeah. He walked in a trench coat where I was like, that has to be custom because there's no way anyone ever made a trench coat that long without it being custom.
Kids are that big too.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool.
Ball
It was cool to meet Paul and Thug because I grew up on their music, same as you. Like we were banging like South music. Master
That's all I listened
P
to the whole time.
and Slim Thug and even like Lil White. You remember like Lil White?
My whole vibe with that was the car culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the reason why I like that music is because they always talk about rapping
the
about
slabs
tuning up cars,
the slabs
and
and
that's
the
all
donks
I was
and
doing, tuning up bikes and cars since I was a kid.
that was I remember like as kids we were very into like the Southern culture, whether it was like the cars or the rap or the jewelry or whatever.
Music.
Like,
and the South took over at that time though, 2003 and stuff. They whooped ass.
T.I., Ludacris was going crazy, like everything, like they just
My side mirrors
dominated.
flap like a fucking bird.
Yeah, Pimp C, Bun B, like that was like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Cash Money took over. Lil Wayne was going crazy. Like,
yeah, them dudes like influenced me, and I look at it now. We got to watch what we say if you're in that position, because I was about 15, 16, turning 16 years old. I didn't have a license. I had a learner's, and I spent $50,000 on a stupid car to customize it with big ass rims and pearl white paint jobs and Lamborghini doors and TVs in the steering wheel. Yeah. And I would just drive around listening to Ludacris. I'm like, this dude got it. I didn't have it. I just blew it. But my mom could have told me to buy a house or some shit.
That's why though, like even I say it all the time when it comes to the music, is like, it's very important to be like, we have a responsibility. So like with the jewelry, you have a platform, we have a responsibility. With music, if you have a platform that like elevates you to the point where people will look to you for advice without knowing you personally, you have a responsibility on the things that come out of your mouth and the way that you move and the way that you act, because whether you want to take accountability for it or not, there are going to be people that look at you and take your advice or take what you say at face value and follow your lead.
Right.
Right. So that's why, like with rap music and stuff, it's like you see these rappers that are talking about switches and Glocks and killing and selling dope and doing this. And you've got these young kids now that are like 13, 14, 15 that are they think that
they're getting groomed.
They think that's exactly the right word, though. As strange as that word is to say, because we use it usually in like another negative connotation, but these kids are being groomed to believe that this is cool. It's not cool, because you know what? When you go in the cell block, there's guys in there that are doing 25 years, but they woke up day one and realized they made a mistake, but they've got 25 years to live through that.
I think there's been a lot of people affected of that, but when you're 16 years old or 14 or 15, in my case, you couldn't tell me nothing.
But you're not even developed enough to understand the consequences of your actions, though. Like you're not. You're really not. Like you, like cool. Like you might get arrested. You might get in trouble. You might have like some consequences. But it's like, imagine like your small action that give you small consequences. Imagine that first action gives you, especially like in the States, like here you go to EYOC for like 4, 5, 6 years, whatever you get out. Like it's still a big consequence. But like some of these kids in the States are catching a crime where it's like gang statutes, drug statutes.
I think the
all sorts
consequences
of stuff like
are a little higher in some states.
And
Canada's pretty relaxed on too much.
Yeah. Well, it's like, where do you draw the line though? Like, are you too relaxed or is the States too crazy? Because when you're talking about a 14-year-old that stabbed someone over an argument and the kid dies and you sentence that 14-year-old to 173 years, that's pretty crazy, bro.
You're just a body at the time, though. If you look at the bigger part of the system, you're a body and it's a business, and we're going to utilize you as my piece of merchandise.
But the people that are grooming have zero consequences.
That's and that's what I mean. And when you look at it, like that's why I take it very seriously too. Like when you see an artist where it's like an artist or a celebrity or somebody who has that platform and they're giving advice to kids. Like look at Future. Like Future came out after like 7 years of promoting codeine, Percocets, lean, this and that. And he said in an interview, he's like, I don't drink lean. I don't even take drugs.
That's what was selling. That stuff was so popular.
And that's what I mean. But you created an entire, or didn't create, but you helped and influenced an entire generation of opioid addicts, of kids that have now lost their lives, kids that have lost families that have lost daughters and sons, to something that I just fucked your bitch in a Gucci flip-flops. Like that kind of music, and you didn't even participate in it, but you helped to influence with your platform.
I think it's a culture lifestyle, though, a lot, where everybody's doing that. But look at how far this went. That we can't even speak on drugs because we don't understand what the program is. We're in the same place where there's 13 pharmacies within a block of us.
Yeah.
Either way, there's obviously something completely different than what we're understanding.
But that's what I mean. So, it's like whether it's the rapper, the celebrity, or the government. Because if we're talking about who started it,
we know
who started it.
We can't blame it on us.
No,
we got completely veered off of jewelry, but it's part of the hip hop jewelry culture. I think it's a negative aspect. I hate it.
I think so too.
But definitely what we're saying.
the main
Promoting
point-
ourselves
The main point is accountability and responsibility when you have a platform,
for your action. Yeah.
and being accountable and responsible for your actions and watching what you say when people are going to look to you for advice. That's super
They're
important.
looking up to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see this guy. I don't know if you've ever seen him before, but his name's like D1. He always pops up on my thing. He's like, he's like,
Oh, yeah, with the dreads.
yeah.
And he called out a couple of he called out
I think
called out Meek Mill
and
about
Rick
like the
Ross and stuff like
prison
that. But I'm
reform
like,
and
but
shit.
he's going heavy on like just like the like what we're talking about right now, just kind of like putting out a positive message. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to sell. People don't want to. It's easier to do dumb
But I think
stuff than it is
he's
to do
getting
good stuff.
that. The only reason why I mentioned it because I feel like
he's getting motion.
he's getting motion right now.
that's what's up.
Which is really
But
cool.
the thing when it comes to us, and that's why it's like, especially when you're talking about the jewelry, that's why it's important. Like, it doesn't matter who's watching. Doesn't matter if you're going to get a certificate with it or not. Doesn't matter who's buying it. Doesn't matter what the customer said to you or how they treated you beforehand. Responsibility and accountability is 100% the biggest thing. Even if nobody's watching, you're not going to switch the diamonds out. You're not going to play with the gold. You're not going to inflate the price just because you can or because you know that person doesn't know what they're talking
They're
about.
uneducated.
You're not going to sell them a watch at $6,000 over price because they just don't get it. When nobody's watching, that is the test of your character, your true character.
Right.
100%. Yeah.
I see that.
Like you said that
With-
to me
with-
about the chocolate milk when I first got out,
Right.
right? I had the chocolate milk and I didn't have a lot of money at the time, and I had chocolate milk in the shopping basket, and the girl didn't notice it. And then I
you already
realized,
drank it. You drank it while we were shopping.
yeah, I drank it while I was shopping because we had just left the gym and I had the chocolate milk or whatever, and I had it and she didn't notice it. I could have easily just thrown it somewhere or whatever and not paid for it. And I didn't even think I just told her, I was like, oh yeah, I have to pay for this or whatever. And then Dow said when we left, he was like, that was a big character test.
That's it. I see that from let's say for those tracks, Max from Tracks New
Mm-hmm.
York, NYC. He does the giveaways all the time.
Yeah.
You see in New York, like people are just scrounging like just rats trying to grab stuff. And then he went over to Tokyo, Japan, and he did the same thing. They put a silver bar on the floor, on the ground somewhere in a busy street quarters.
Yeah.
And there was thousands of people walking by, and they look at it, they're like, oh wow, that's silver. If it's not yours, don't touch it. That's the same way I grew up in my household with
Right.
in my father's household. I would get my ass whooped. If it's not yours, don't touch it. I don't care if it's a penny or a toonie. You just
Right.
don't steal, period. But
Mhm.
or if it's not yours, don't touch it. It's there for whatever reason.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Yeah, and that was a different culture where I said, I commented that on one of his posts, and it's every day still there's like thousands of people comment on that same comment I did.
Mhm.
And that's interesting. It always reminds me for the last 2 months, like, hey, if it's not yours, don't touch it. People don't really act like that. And in New
Right.
York, it's like a bunch of like different lifestyle, but in Tokyo, Japan, they got it figured out there, I feel like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Bringing
That's really cool. I never saw that.
yeah, I never saw it either, but
Yeah.
I think like bringing a positive influence to the jewelry industry specifically, because it is like, number one, you always like people have that stereotypical slimy jeweler, right? Like that's what they're like
Car
thinking of
salesman,
in your
yeah.
head, the car salesman and stuff. And then you have the jewelers that are not even willing to work together at all, very quick to throw each other the bus, put each other down to each other, like stuff like that. And it's just
We've
like
all
there's-
battled with jewelers. Every jeweler's
Yeah.
gonna individually battle it out
oh,
with
we
each other.
have.
So there's only a certain way you can go.
But I won't talk down about a jeweler in the shop.
It's not even worth it.
Yeah, no, like ever. Even if people are like, yo, do you think I got ripped off? I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't know their situation.
Yeah, everybody has
I did-
different rent, different
Yeah.
leases, different like,
reasons for
staff members.
charging
There's so
different
many other reasons
prices.
why the price
I can't
is
just
different.
look at it and know why they
Mhm.
charge you that. So I'm like, I just can only speak on what I can do. So
Yeah,
this is what I can do.
Right.
So
Mhm.
A general citizen too is only going to value strictly that dollar amount. They don't, you put that dollar amount and move that to the side on anything. The more wealthy you get, the experience that I want to pay for the product I want to pay for is the experience, the service, the ease of what I'm getting, the quality of it.
Can I
don't
call you
care
if
the
I have
price.
an issue with it, and are you going to take care of
Exactly.
me?
like
Are you gonna
I
value me?
answer at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
You know
tell
what I
me
mean?
anybody
Yeah.
else you can call at 2 a.m. and pick up the phone and
Bro,
get that.
I answer a text back. I literally do. I did it last night on my birthday.
I
I
answered.
was like,
Wow, balls
yeah,
deep.
yeah,
You know
hell
what
yeah.
that
I'm
means?
in.
Whoever
Yeah.
you were.
yeah.
but I did. I
That was
answered
on
it
the
back.
phone
I'm
giving
like, yo.
back shots, talking about, yo, what do you need?
Listen, man, I'm gonna get you these links. You're getting done.
You gotta let me go though, because I'm
Yeah.
busy.
That's funny.
No, I did the same thing one time. I remember 3 a.m. I get a call on the work phone, and I look at it and I'm like, fuck. I answered
Worth
it
it.
though. I answered it, and it's this drunk dude from Toronto, and I'm not even realizing it's 5 a.m. there. It's 3 here.
Yeah,
And he's
watched
just
your
he's
rap
just
video.
hammered, but he just wants to talk about watches. Doesn't want to buy nothing. Doesn't want to nothing. Just wants advice on watches. Wants to talk about watches. Man, I spent an hour on the phone with that guy, and I
There's a
didn't feel
level
bad
of
about it. I
attainment.
didn't feel
Yeah.
messed up about it. I just wanted to give him the information, and he was pretty funny. He was drunk, shit. It was funny.
Damn, I don't know. I can't take it that far.
Sometimes I
nowadays,
feel like
but
we're too
I do.
attainable, but I also feel like
Yeah.
that's where our value comes in as well too. It's like I do think we're too like
I don't think we'll be able to keep it up till we're 50.
No.
but that will.
Yeah, I got 1 more year left in me. So if you want to talk to me at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
while you're drunk, you got 365 days to do it.
We're on it. So let's talk about a couple cool things that we just kind of. The last 2 weeks have been a blur almost to me. I just feel like meeting after appointment after filming, and we're getting back on our marketing tip. Our socials are going back up. Everybody's doing some stuff. We just had a cool, interesting experience with some European company that came out here that is a diamond
Nevada.
dealer.
Nevada, yeah.
So they're a diamond hub where they put everybody together, and they contacted us because we're unique. We met them maybe a year or two ago. Dow kind of introduced me to them, and I actually ran into them in person at JCK in Vegas last year, and we kind of built a bit more of a relationship. But they end up flying their team out here and did a little mini doc on us, which was super hype.
Super cool,
I
yeah.
can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it looked
footage
good.
looks nuts.
That was where I'm gonna bring in Jimbo from earlier.
Oh, okay.
We went to the workshop and sat down, and they actually threw a mic on Jim, which I never filmed Jim. And we talked about some cool stuff.
amazing.
Because like, he knew when I was a little kid, I've been buying jewelry from Jim since I was 12.
Mm.
And he know me, and he said, man, that's one thing I always remember about that kid. He's always on a bicycle. He got to get there fast. So, and I was like, dude, this is hilarious that you said that, because it's the fact. I'm always like, there's no walking when I'm not walking somewhere.
Basically, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, I gotta get
If
there.
not
I'm
first,
moving.
you last.
If not
I'm
first,
moving,
then
dog. You know,
last.
Shake
I'm
and
moving.
bake, shake and bake.
So, yeah,
Kiks is shake and bake, man.
shake and bake. So he ended up getting putting a little insight of times that we don't really talk about. Once in a while we will, but it was more. That was cool. It was kind of understanding of how far I actually
How far it came.
from when I was a kid to where now we've taken it, which is way different. And I had that same epiphany yesterday. I was sitting in
Where we're about to take it, which is even
yeah,
crazy.
we're even going. We have way higher goals now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
when you look at it from back in the day, I remember telling some stories to people, and they're just like basically laugh whenever I say I want to open up a shop. People are like, well, yeah, right, man, you crazy. Just like a brick and mortar. But then you get it, and then people come in and they see 10 years later, like, dude, how do you have all these people rolling around, rumbling around? We got FedEx coming and going out of here. We got all these jewelry people, clients, every phone call, every email, every web order. Things are buzzing.
Yeah,
You know what?
it's crazy.
The cool thing about that too is like how you said that, right? It's like I've been through that too. Like, you're one of the biggest influences for me, where like people will laugh and they'll be like, well, you want to be a rapper? Why not? My friend built a jewelry store from scratch,
Right.
out of fashion jewelry. My other friend went from being the only white kid in the house party to being a rapper on Much Music and Heavy Rotation to being a major tour DJ all over the world and playing venues that you dreamed that you could play.
It's not
So
impossible.
Why can't I achieve what I want to achieve? Because the people in my circle, they achieve what they want to achieve. So, like, you know, you hang out with 10 bums, you'll be the 11th bum. You hang out with 10 winners, you're gonna win at what you want to win at too.
Yeah, you're not gonna, if you actually discipline yourself and put your effort into exactly what your goal is, written down and focused, maybe even add a little bit of a timeline so you can add some assistance of pressure on it, you're gonna be able to achieve it. It doesn't really matter what it is, but there's a level of how you get there, there's a hard way and an easier way. And the older I get, I'm like, damn, why did I do that? It's easier to do this.
The hard way, yeah.
But
Kiks loves going the hard way.
no, I just learned that way.
But you learn a lot
my
by
stupid ass.
No,
stuff.
but in the same breath, like I'm probably the same way. I like to go the hard way too.
Yeah, me too.
In my head, I want to go the easy way, but I always end up going the hard way and learning all my lessons and knowing for the best. But that's the best way about doing it the hard way and checking all the nooks and crannies and doing all the fine details and instead of having a building that's already brand new and just you go in there and pay the lease, we build it from
building it,
from the ground
from
up
the
and
foundation,
dealing with the water leak yesterday.
But that's why my shit is better though, is because we actually
the details
we detail it.
That's like when you go to a restaurant, you can tell whether that the guy who cooks your food started as a dishwasher or not. You know what I mean?
Them guys got the process down.
Yeah, they went through the process. They understand. Like
even
the guy who owns the restaurant started
when you go
bottom.
when you go into the restaurant and you know it's like one of those new builds like that's like on whatever street. You know what I mean? And they have like you can put your shop into any one of these. You can tell the difference from that or someone who grabbed an older building and like just redid it and put the love in it. And you know what I mean? Like there's a difference to it. One looks a little cookie cutter. The other one is like, yo, like how did you do this? This is really cool.
When I buy merchandise or something, you can kind of see that with the brand sometimes, depending on what you're getting. Actually, with like food, for instance, you got that experience definitely. Another thing is when you have the conversation with a person that is, let's call it some sort of success, like a business person that has been successful. You notice you're speaking to them. They're like, oh yeah, I made it. We basically like built this when I was 50 or when I was 55. And people think, oh, they just did it real quick because it only took them like 2 to 4 years to put this subject together, whatever we're talking about in the business side. But realistically, what about all those 30 years before that we didn't speak on, that he was learning all the dumb moves that we all made
that were necessary
to have that knowledge to get to
100%.
that point.
Yeah.
And that's what I notice a lot of times now. But we have spent the last 10 years climbing a mountain, and then for whatever reason we're down at the base of it again. And I'm
you
looking
thought it
up.
Was the mountain, but we
I'm
just
like,
made
that's
it
the wrong mountain, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go that way.
Yeah.
You know, so we start climbing, but we can climb that way faster now.
Yeah.
Because we already have the knowledge from doing all that dumb stuff for the last 10 years. Then you go up to the next level.
Yeah.
So we say it. So
100%.
That's almost how our conversation came into a full circle about like value. Like there's different forms of value.
there is, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So this, what are you valuing? People look at this one thing, it's $1 and it's like $1, or is it going to be 59 cents?
Or is it time? Or is
there's time. That's the biggest thing, is time. I think if you could sell something to a whole community, not a community, but to just a human, if you can change time, that's the most expensive shit.
Yeah. Well, what do they say? Like, you catch a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man a fish, he can eat forever, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you value? Do you value like the money that you can have today that you're going to spend by tomorrow? Or do you value the knowledge that can let you eat forever?
I always see those people saying different things regarding if you're going to get into that specific context where you're saying it took them 10 minutes to get the job, but they billed us $1,000 to get the job done in a construction zone or something like this.
Yeah.
But it's like, this dude is the knowledge guy. He came in here. It was something about a ship thing. I can't remember what it was, but shouldn't have even brought that up.
No, but no, you're absolutely right though. It's like, you don't charge $1,000 for the 10 minutes worth of work. You charge $1,000 for the 20 years worth of knowledge that you had to get to be able to do
That's
that
how
job
the
in 10
context went
minutes.
somewhere. It was about some ship needing.
You
to
almost
be
had it.
fixed.
You're close.
Yeah,
So far
close
off,
enough.
guys. I know what I meant, but I have no idea what's
Rickyisms.
going on.
We'll just throw a bunch of question marks.
Yeah,
over
it's
there.
not,
What is going
it's not
on?
rocket appliances.
And then
That's it.
Smoke will clarify it.
So it's dope. We're in the game for this. Smoke's first time out of the country in his whole life.
About to spend the whole re-up.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm excited about that. We just kind of tackled down a very good, successful year, 2023. And we're here for 2024. We got the new building coming. We got a bunch of docs running right now. We got all kinds of media happening. We got the Spend the Re-Up pod, and we're pretty consistent, staying disciplined and consistent.
Up right now.
Yeah, we got a great team. That's the most, that's what we just spoke about that the other day. Yeah. We'll probably have a few more people on here and just introduce everybody. But we're
Man.
really into it, and
End of the day,
let's keep it going.
last year was great. Year before that was great.
Yeah,
This year going to be better. And if every year after that gets better,
yeah.
we're in the right direction.
Hey man, if you can't beat us, join us.
Yeah, spend a real.
I feel like if you're watching the podcast too, and if there's anything you want us to talk about, you
Yeah.
can hit us in the comments.
Like, prescribe, comment it here. Let's get it.
Mhm.
Just hit us in the comments if there's anything you want us to explain or talk about, or if you're interested in the jewelry business or how we come up with either concepts or designs or whatever you want to know about
Yeah.
it. Even if you want us to explain diamonds or
Yeah.
how gold works or what's the difference between 10 and 18 karat. Like
Follow us on
Yeah.
social
Yeah.
medias too. Gold Teeth Canada, Canadian Diamond Boyz.
We'd love to explain those kind of
Yeah,
things.
we'll be posting a lot. We've been recording. We're posting a lot of that content. So
Hell yeah. Canadian Diamond Boyz, Gold Teeth Canada.
Let's keep it going.
It's your smile. That shit's important.
yeah, hell yeah. And shout out to our sponsors today. Everybody knows Luso Water. It's the sparkling water for the lifestyles here.
Yes, sir.
Let's keep it going. Stay hydrated, not thirsty, right?
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Let's go. Come
Luso.
on.
That's what we fill in all these bottles too, by the way. That's all I drink is soda water now. I don't even play anything different. So shout out to all the team on that. Let's get it.
All right. Episode 1. Come on, baby.
Let's get it.
It's a wrap.
Keep fit and have fun.